TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. Israel highlights the need to bolster its strategic alliances amid global changes which spell dire challenges for the future. The International Atomic Energy Agency's Board of Governors adopts a resolution demanding Iranian cooperation with the agency on open investigations, warning of punitive measures if it fails to conform. General Kenneth McKenzie, the recently retired U.S. Central Command commander, tells TV7 that Iran's nuclear progress is not the most concerning element of Tehran's military enhancement. A steady rise of threats within the context of a changing world are merely seeds for the challenges that will develop and grow in the future. Speaking alongside Greek Defense Minister Nikos Panagiotopoulos during a work visit to Athens, Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz emphasized the need to face global shifts by further enhancing strategic alliances, both regionally and globally.
It is clear that the global threat we see today are simply the seeds for the challenges that will develop and grow in the future, impacting national security, food supplies, immigration, energy resources, and more. In face of global shifts, it is our duty to ensure our alliances remain strong and constant.
While further underscoring the implications of the Russian invasion into Ukraine, Jerusalem's outgoing defense official asserted that the politics of extremism and terrorism impacts countries across the globe.
The world is changing. The implications of the war in Ukraine bleed through national borders. The politics of extremism and terrorism impacts countries across the globe. Iranian aggression continues to be a great threat to the region and to the world. We see this in Iran's involvement in the war in Ukraine. We see this in Iran's advancing nuclear program, emphasized by the Board of Governors resolution overnight. We see this in Iran's support for terror proxies in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, and Judea and Samaria. And just this week, an Iranian UAV was launched at a civilian vessel. It is critical to stop the spread of Iranian influence and ambitions. This is what Israel aims to achieve through some of our activities under the CENTCOM umbrella, and we will continue to operate against any attempt to build terror bases on our borders.
As mentioned by Minister Gantz, the International Atomic Energy Agency's Board of Governors adopted a resolution which was submitted by France, Germany, Britain, and the United States, stressing the importance of Iran's compliance with its safeguards obligations and the need for Iran to cooperate fully and in a timely manner with the agency with a view to clarifying and resolving the long outstanding safeguards issues related to undeclared nuclear particles that were uncovered from undeclared locations in Iran. Moreover, the resolution expresses profound concern that the safeguards issues related to 3 undeclared locations remain outstanding due to insufficient substantive cooperation by Iran, despite numerous interactions with the agency since 2019. Moreover, while not citing any concrete actions, the resolution warns that if Iran fails to cooperate, the Board of Governors is prepared to take further action. In response to the IAEA resolution, Iran's envoy to the agency asserted, quote, "The political goals of the founders of this anti-Iranian resolution will not be realized, but it could impact the constructive relations between Tehran and the agency." Additionally, the director of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Mohammad Islami, reportedly announced that the pre-scheduled meeting with IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi later this month was no longer on the agenda. The IAEA Director General responded on Twitter by voicing hope that the planned technical meeting with Iran would yet take place, since the Iranian regime did not inform the agency otherwise. Meanwhile, at an IAEA press briefing, Director General Grossi also noted that while Iran had relayed its disappointment over the hawkish approach of the agency, the IAEA simply wants answers to its open-ended questions.
One of the things that I often hear is that from some Iranian counterparts is that we are not reflecting something positive. Well, I say, well, start, delivering something. For me, engagement is not simply that you sit down or that we tried that already.
The International Atomic Energy Agency Director General continued by complaining about Iran's evasive communications, which are seemingly deliberate.
I mean, it's like we are talking past each other. We are asking questions and we are not getting answers. Or the answers we are getting are answers, as I think quite, in a very direct way, I characterize them as technically not credible. So we are talking with experts, among experts, and we are saying, well, what you are giving me is not possible. So please, let's try again.
The IAEA Director General went on to raise the alarm over the continuously broadening gap in knowledge over Tehran's nuclear program, stressing that the longer his agency remains in the dark, the more difficult verification procedures will become.
So there's a mass of activity about which we don't know anything.
Meanwhile, in a special edition of TV7's Watchmen Talk, TV7 editor-at-large Amir Oren interviewed the recently retired commander of the U.S. Central Command, namely General Kenneth McKenzie, during which he noted that based on his informed opinion, any strike against Iran's nuclear infrastructure would bring about a violent response, since such an act would threaten the survivability of the Ayatollah regime itself.
I think a strike against Iran by anybody that goes into what we would call the Esfahan-Tehran corridor, where most of their nuclear stuff is, any strike in there by any outside body, whether it's the United States, Israel, or some other group of nations, Iran's going to respond violently, aggressively, and with as much firepower as they can to that. I can't see how they can do anything else.
General McKenzie further explained that over the past 10 years, with an accelerated pace in the past 5 years, the Islamic Republic of Iran developed 3 components of offensive capabilities, which effectively threatened to devastate the entire region.
Over the last 10 years and accelerating over the last 5 years, Iran has put remarkable emphasis on building a trinity of capabilities. And that trinity is composed of theater range ballistic missiles, land attack cruise missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. And what they have done is they have starved their people, they have perverted their economy, they have denied a lot of things in order to build these capabilities, to the point now where we really have a new situation in the region, where I will tell you, the latter part of my time as the commander of Central Command, and from what I see now, the great daily threat in the region is what comes of these 3 allied Iranian capabilities. Because what it does is it gives them the ability to gain overmatch against their Gulf neighbors.
General McKenzie went on to assert that while he is concerned by Iran's nuclear program, the Islamic Republic's arsenal of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles is much more concerning in the immediate time frame.
In the spring of 2021, we were talking about going back into the JCPOA, reestablishing some form of nuclear agreement. And then from the United States, our president said, then we'd like to look at ballistic missiles and proxies. Well, the Iranian response was electric. And it wasn't so much about the nuclear component as about the ballistic missiles and the proxy component, saying they will never, ever allow modification or, we'll never negotiate to reduce these capabilities. I think we should view the crown jewel of Iranian offensive capability as those missiles, UAVs, and land attack cruise missiles, because they pose a threat tonight. The nuclear threat, the Iranians continue to plod along. You know, they could have a weapon probably pretty quick if they chose to do that. It would take them a while to present a deliverable weapon. By that, I mean something that could be weaponized and put on top of a missile or hauled in an airplane somewhere. That's going to take them a little time to do once they make the decision to do it. On the other hand, these missiles, LACMs and UAVs, are available now. And I sometimes am concerned that they sit in the shadow because we focus so much on the nuclear deal, which is concerning and is the policy of my country that Iran not possess a nuclear weapon. But in the meantime, Iran has built significant ballistic missile capability.
The full edition of TV7 Watchmen Talk with Amir Oren and General Kenneth McKenzie will broadcast tomorrow night on our website at www.tv7israelnews.com, followed by our regular broadcast on TV7, TBN Pacific, and our other affiliates in accordance with their respective schedules. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to highlight that TV7 Israel is a donation-based ministry. Therefore, if you're blessed by our productions, please consider making a financial contribution that would enable us to sustain our ongoing operations. Additionally, I would like to keep encouraging you, pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you again on Monday at the same time.